Hello, Dr. Sanders. This is Titus Rehard, and this is my CSC313 Homework 6, the Cell Shading Project. I'll run the code. We output an image, different shaded areas, and the edges, the very edge is highlighted with the bigger line. There's a slight imperfection out here if you look. It's really close. I'll go over our code and how it works, then I'll explain what's slightly wrong with that. So here we go. Here we do the basics. We import everything. We set up the classes. We initialize the camera, the window, the lighting, the color, all the simple stuff. Very similar to our last project. The important things are imagine material. We add a normal array basically. We pull the normals from the vertices that we're looping through, and then calculate what the normal is to that edge. And then with that, we look down here and say, hey, if the normal is basically pointing to the side with whatever direction, then that face is on the edge, and we want to highlight that. So I did some of the setup for this, and then Noah finished it basically, which is why it's in the end his ending code. But that's basically how that works. And our slight problem here is that on these outer faces, they're really close to being normal, and so our tolerance says that it's normal, and if we take that off, then it'll take off some of the outer faces, because basically there aren't faces. It's acting as if there aren't faces that are purely pointing straight to the side, but this one up here is tilted a little towards me, and then the one behind is tilted a little behind. There isn't a true perpendicular face, and so if you play with that tolerance, you'll find that it'll lose some of the absolute outer edges if you don't tell it to leave some of the inner ones, basically, if that makes sense. It has to do with the way that the normals are given an error value or a grace value to say we're good. So I think this is pretty good. It showed us how to play with the values. So it's interesting to me how this isn't just 3 points. It looks like it successively makes bigger and bigger triangles. So these are just a bunch of points basically, which makes sense, but it was pretty interesting. So yeah, that is the project. Thank you so much. Bye bye.